Hey, this is Notser, and we're checking out destroyer strategy. We're in the Z-52. I think the German destroyers are a great example of exactly the most heady destroyer line you can play because you have hydroacoustic, and also your torpedoes have a very quick recharge rate, so you need to understand when to use them and when to not use them. You could supplement it by picking up radiolocation or something like that, but I really like my core build, preventative maintenance, last stand, faster torpedo rearm, concealment. I go pick up survivability expert, superintendent, adrenaline rush, and then my final skill is priority target. And that's a pretty super solid destroyer build. So, what is the strategy? Well, every DD, and I do mean every single DD, should look to play the objective first. Try and capture a base for your team, or spot anyone who might be around an enemy or a primary objective. Friend or foe, it's really, really important. Now, we are radio located, so we know that someone is closer to our ship than any other ship on my team. Now, it's a very important bit of information that maybe some people overlook. That means that the DD at B, the DD behind me on the eastern side, none of them are closer than I was. But did you notice that the eastern one, when he went past a certain point, then I was no longer spotted. So that means he is near the enemy that has radio location. He is closer to the radio location than anyone else on my team. So what can we discern? Well, it's not this gearing. This gearing is not the one who has radio location. I'm still closer to the gearing than he is close to the friendly destroyer. That guy is probably the one with radio location. Now, I feel pretty confident in this position to go ahead and pull the trigger. And the Germans have an interesting dilemma. Do I use HE or do I use AP? The AP is a huge reward. However, we don't want to run into friendlies. However, AP obviously is not going to do as much damage when they're angled or presenting a very, very minimal shot, a very minimal target to acquire. So I would usually say, if you're not comfortable, stick with HE. Use AP when you're really comfortable with the size of the enemy. And we'll have a good example of that exact thing later on. So the base was almost in capture until the gearing came back in. I don't really want to give up the potential capture. I'm the one who is responsible for 80% of that base capture, and I need to do my damnedest to make sure that we don't throw it all away. You know, it's one thing to bail out if you feel like radio location or radar or aircraft are going to give away your position. It's entirely different to feel like, hey, we're okay, just chill. So I recognize that the gearing is going to be presenting some side. I switched to AP and I want to go broadside against them. Now I'm using hydroacoustic because he is right on the edge of the tier 10 German hydroacoustic, and yeah, we do get a little bit of a side shot. And we convert it to 2,000. That's not too bad. Only 3 shots hit. That's why you use AP. When you see a broadside target, the German destroyers can punish it. Similar to the gearing having a really long smoke cooldown, or the Soviet destroyers having great long-range fire. Just recognize the strengths of your DD and use them. I have hydroacoustic. I am not going to accidentally run into torpedoes while hydroacoustic is up. I'm trying to push forward so I can keep the gearing spotted as my team cascades around. And conveniently, he shows himself either way. We got the enemy Shimakaze that's past that, and they're both in full retreat. They should not be on this point. They should absolutely not be over here once they recognize, hey, there's way too many friendlies on the other flank for them. It's a waste. If there is anyone trying to capture the base as a DD and you don't have any support, just run away. Just turn and run. There's no reason to waste it. What has ultimately ended up happening is the gearing's probably going to die. The Shima's going to take some damage, and they didn't really gain anything. Wow, they gained the knowledge that we're here. And yeah, that AP broadside. AP broadside, pretty good with the Germans. So, we've captured C point. The enemy has captured A and B. We are in a deficit. and it's getting wider and wider as my teammates die. So I took a quick shot at the Montana, and I shouldn't have. I should have probably just continued to fire on the Shimakaze. There is a potential threat of enemies near B, and I need to keep that in mind. I won't have Hydroacoustic as a tool to protect me from that aggressive play. Look at all the DDs in there. So what I need to do, I need to try and drop off detection. And the reason I want to drop off detection is I want to re-engage on my terms. That's a really critical part of DDs as well. You can dictate the terms of engagement. Unless there's an aircraft carrier, and then you can't. But generally, you dictate the terms of engagement. You say when to go, when to stop. And it's really important that you're comfortable with that. Because if you're not comfortable recognizing when it's safe to attack and when you need to retreat, well, you're going to die really quick in a DD. So I chose to pop my smoke. I was taking a little bit too much fire. There are enemies over there. There's a threat of torpedoes. Every time you drop smoke, there is a threat that enemy torpedoes are going to be coming your way imminently. I would do it. They're going to do it. So I send my torpedoes. I'm going to bail on the smoke. I'm not going to stay here and be an attraction for torpedoes. And hopefully I can catch sight of some enemy. I notice that the Montana is in dire need of support. Multiple enemies are pushing forward rapidly. And oh, enemy destroyer showing his side. I fire my HE and then I switch to AP. It looks like he's going to angle away. We're not going to do a lot of damage. He's not the priority. The priority is to keep my Montana alive so I can have a chance at this game. If the Montana is dead, I don't think we have a chance. We need to keep as many people alive, and as a DD, I really enjoy changing flanks and trying to close off the opening that the enemy's trying to force. So trying to take the Montana out, push them quick, get torpedoes. I'm going to get on their flank and shoot into them, using the islands to cover other than one target at a time. That's a great way of treating this, and this enemy Yugamo is the perfect target. He's showing not a broadside, so I should switch to HE. But I do expect him to continue the full rotation, and AP on a broadside's pretty good. We're going to see how well it works out if we can hit the thick part of the ship. It's not really good when you're not hitting the thick part of the ship. And look at all the overpin. We honestly could probably have used HE. And my hydro's back up, so I'm going to use it to detect all these targets. They're not going to be able to hide. I think the gearing was also hiding, so the friendly Montana can fire on him as well. Switch to HE. Probably should have switched earlier, but either way, good accurate shots will net us a kill. And this gearing is a sitting duck. He's sitting in smoke. I have hydro. There's nothing he can do to me. Take my time. Load the right ammo type, shoot him in the side, wait for that island icon to go away, and he's going to die so fast. Just look at the damage output per salvo, and he's going to burn down to the Montana. Best of both worlds. I supported the Montana, and he got the kill. Enemy Monarch looks like he wants to press forward, and that's pretty dangerous for me. I don't have smoke. It's almost up. And I'm going to consider when to send the torpedo. Now, this is a really key part of the game. When do you send torpedoes when they're aggressively? I basically want to force him to rotate around the island, deny him line of sight, and then once the line of sight's gone, I feel ready to send the torpedoes. I shot down the aircraft. That was my key to push forward. And it looked like he committed to angling against the Montana, and he was going full speed. Well, guess what? I think I gave enough lead. Well, he's going to survive, damn it. We could have done a little bit better with the lead, but we did a lot of damage, cause a flood. It's going to force out damage control if he can. I popped my smoke. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to fire from smoke. AP broadside, AP broadside, AP broadside. Don't think about it, just do it, especially if you're a German destroyer. Now, if I could actually hit him and not that giant gap in between, then we'll be able to kill him. Keep hitting the gun. Damn it. Stop hitting the gun. There we go. There's the kill. So we've got the Montana still alive. I have no idea. Okay, he's pretty healthy. Montana's still alive. We still have the base. It's 2-1. It's not the end of the world. Team, you do not have to press this attack. We can take what we have right now. The game's not over. We're cool. 1 versus 2 isn't a big deal. If we get 1 or 2 kills, the game's going to work out. But you notice my team in the south, they're pressing. They are absolutely in a panic mode, and that's not going to work well for us as a team. Now, I do notice an enemy battleship last seen near B, and I do want to punish him if he indeed pushes maybe towards C. So I'm reading the situation. This is Alabama. What is he going to do? Is he going to turn south? It looks like he's turning south to assist his team. That's the right play. Never play in a 1v1. Always overwhelm your opponent. If you have the option between that 1v1 and that 1 versus 3, go with the 1 versus 3. You're probably going to win, and your team's going to appreciate the support. So I recognize, you know what, this is not good. This is not going to work out. The island's going to be in the way. Shake my head. It's not going to work out. So I need to consider, okay, there are 2 DDs on the enemy team. One was last spotted over by the southern flank. And oh, looky there. If we would have continued going through that gap, we would have been completely dead. Out in the open, enemy Alabama, enemy DD. Instead, I can hide and figure out where he is. Clearly, he's using hydroacoustic because it's a DD. It's clearly a German DD. How do I know that? Those are the only targets that are close that could be using it. It's extremely important as the DD you recognize any American cruiser, any Soviet cruiser, and anything that could potentially forcibly spot you. Aircraft, hydroacoustic, anything like that. So I wait until my hydro's up, and then when it's up, ooh, magically we see the target. So I'm going to send my torpedoes. He sees it. I see it. This is just merely to get him to maneuver. And I have AP loaded, so I get him a ton for a shot. Unfortunately, I keep AP loaded. I should have switched immediately to HE, but I figured he would over-rotate, maybe to send his torpedoes. And he's not. I'm going superstructure because it's the only place I could go. But still, HE would do more damage. And oh, is he going to over-rotate? I was so happy. And he's not. He's not. This is just a mistake. Straight up a mistake. My smoke is up. His hydro has been up for a while. I have to consider, is the hydro going to detect me in smoke? I figure, you know what, I don't think it is. So I use it, and sure enough, he doesn't have it up anymore. So stay out of 2 kilometers. He over-rotates. He recognizes I'm using HE now. Well, guess what? I'm going to go AP. So be ready to switch back and forth, and you will absolutely crush anyone. Depending on the ammo type, you should do tons of damage to the targets. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, you name it, the Germans are great at it. So, man, we've just given up too much in this game. But we've played it, I have played it as well as I think I can. We kept the Montana up. We took out targets who were trying to go after the Montana. I flanked them, and I flanked them hard. Maybe going to the south would have worked out better for my team. Who knows? I felt like we had a power position, but we just gave it up. Now, I want to send my torpedoes. You want to send your torpedoes on cooldown, if possible. However, the Montana's in the way, and I don't want to risk getting him. I just got pink. I just got out of pink in this game, or a game or two, and yep, sure enough, they ram each other. Montana survives somehow, but this game's basically over. I'm going to try and do damage to the Grosso Kua first. I recognize I'm not the target, so they're not going to pull the trigger on me. I could fire freely. I could send my torpedoes, but I didn't know what the Montana was going to do. You know, he's in the way. I'd rather hold on to them and not risk the friendly. You could argue that that's the wrong way to play it, but that's just the way I play the game. I really true value my teammates, even if they're doing, you know, stuff that's going to get them killed. And sure enough, it gets them killed. But objectively, we played correctly. We flanked the target. We used our cooldowns appropriately, and that's what you got to do on a DD. The destroyer, more than any other, it's very heady. And you can just run circles around the enemy, and that's exactly what we did. We literally ran circles around the enemy as they were trying to go with that island. But I enjoyed this game. I love the Z-52. Most of the Germans play like that. You got the Americans who are just brute force. Push forward, push forward, push forward. Soviet, long range. The Japanese have mega damage torpedoes, which are way easier to hit. You got to be more coy with it. Radio location definitely helps in the intel gathering. And yeah, I hope that you can take some of these pointers. What's the key to look forward to? You know, is there an opening? Where's the enemy primary flank? Can I get a kill or two? Where's the island in relation to the other island so I can only engage one target? Keep that in mind, and you'll find much more success. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.